What is up, guys? Trevor here from G&G Elite. Today I'm coming at you guys with another deck profile. Today I'll be covering it myself. We're going to discuss Android 17 and 18. This is a very good leader. Anyone that knows me, this is like all I play. I really love this deck. Right now I think it has a perfect spot in the meta. The meta has slowed down a bit, and with the right pilot and the right kind of consistency build, I think this can really flourish in the meta right now. So let's get into the build. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, but we're going to start off with the cell chain, of course. So we got the 3-drop. If you guys don't know, the 3-drop, you play this card, you put Android 17 under it, then you go get the 5-drop. That's all the 3-drop does. But the 5-drop does something cooler. So when you put the 17 under the 3-drop, you go in your deck, find the 5-drop. When this card comes into play, if you Union Absorb, putting the 17 under the 3-drop, you will pop something and draw a card. Very good. You can pop anything, even if it's tapped, not tapped, no matter how big of cost it is. As long as it doesn't have barrier, you can pop it. So it's very cool. So when you get that out, you put an 18 underneath the 5-drop, and you go get the 7-drop. 7-drop is what makes this deck crazy. 7-drop, when this comes into play with Union Absorb, you discard down, your opponent discards down the 3 cards. So it's very, very powerful, and I will show you guys how to make it even more powerful. Yes, there is a way. So that's the cell chain pieces. Don't go 4-4-3 or anything. Go 4-4-4. This is the reason for the deck. You do not want to hurt the consistency. I will talk later about some other cell pieces that I kind of want to try out, but for now I've been doing this, and I've only dropped 1 game so far, and that's a game when I didn't play cell chain. I just whiffed, but I'm going to talk about my build and how I think I can make it better. So now we're going to go into the androids. We're playing 2 of the new, the box that just came out. This card is really, really good. It's basically a 3 cost because by the time you play him, you're going to be awakened. If you guys don't know, with the leader, once you awaken and you're at 4 life, all your androids, I think it's when you're at 4. No, I think it's permanently. Yeah, it's permanently. Sorry, I just play this leader all the time. I don't even know. It permanently reduces the cost of all your Android 17s and 18s by 1, but when you're at 4 or less life, they all get 5,000. So he's always going to be a 3 cost, and usually when you play him, he's going to be a 25,000 power Android, which is really good. But when he comes into play, it's kind of like the 5-drop cell. If your leader card is green, you choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and you KO it. So it doesn't matter if it's tapped, it's just like the 5-drop basically. And it has blocker and barrier. So it's a very good card. It's coming clutch. This deck has a lot of removal, and I really like it. But we'll get into more about him later. Up next, this is a very good card. We have 4 of the Android 17 Energy Guard. This guy is really cool because when you play him, he's probably going to be a 2 cost, or he is going to be a 2 cost. And most likely he's going to be 20,000 power. He is blocker, but the cool thing about him is when you swing, at the end of your turn, he restands so you can block with him. A 20,000 blocker for 2 energy is pretty good, and you can swing, clear some stuff off the board. When I play SS3, you can use him to clear Gohans, stuff like that, and just restand. It's really cool. So that's it for the 17 count. We have 6 17s. Up next for 18, we have 4 of the crit 18. This is the only crit droid we run. Knowing this, I managed this card very well, try to at least, because crit can come in clutch late game after you cell chain, and they're at 3 cards and you're hitting their life for 20k crit. They can't use the cards to block it, obviously, and they're not getting cards from their life to their hand. So it's a very good card after cell chain. I try to save this, and I try to use this 18 for the Union Absorb or Energy. But this card can also come in clutch too later on. Basically, once per turn, when this card attacks, you may place one card from your hand to the drop area and you restand a 17. So, a cool combo I usually do is this guy restands on his own, but this guy doesn't. So you can pop, you can swing for 25, then swing with the 18 and restand him to block next turn. It's really cool. I really like it, but most of the time, this 18 is for Union Absorb or Energy. So that's 6 18s, so we're running 6 17, 6 18. I think 6 is a perfect number for each android because you want to see them, obviously, for the cell chain. I don't recommend you in 4 and 4. I don't think that's enough. But to help find those pieces, we have the 1-drop Giro. This card is really good because it's a 1-drop, so we have a turn 1 play. Most of the time we don't. I'll get into that later. But when we play him, it kind of stinks. He's not as good as the 2-drop, but I think he's better because when you play him, you look at the top 3 and you get an android in the text. So you can get your super combo, you can get your cell pieces, you can get your androids, of course. You just can't get him and some other things we're playing, but you usually do not whiff. Of course you're going to from time to time, that just happens, but it's a very good card. You have to play it, basically. Up next is a very good card if you're using the Android 17 leader, is the Gohan that we just got. This card's really good because it applies pressure and it helps you awaken. Me playing Cell a lot, the team G&G has gotten used to me playing Cell and like has grinded the Cell matchup a lot. So sometimes they try to stall me, and this is just a way to get around it. You can find 2 Gohans pretty fast. This deck draws a lot of cards. I don't know how, but I always have a lot of cards in hand, and it works. You could even, if you don't think this is enough self-awakening, you could add TN, but right now I'm doing 4 Gohans and it's been pretty good. So I love playing Hirudegan because they have to attack your leader, so basically they're going to awaken you on your own, so you don't really need this card till late game, so it'd be an easy charge piece for early on. Up next, you're probably not going to see any other Cell list playing this, but it has come in clutch. I have really enjoyed this card. Sometimes it's just energy, sometimes I just combo with it, but when I play it, oh man, it's so good. We're playing 2 Anilaza. I know it's crazy, but it's really good. After you cell chain and the next turn you drop this bad boy down, they have 3 cards. If they combo, they have to discard a card that's more double strike, more pressure. Just a fantastic card. And the games where I didn't get cell chain off, I played 2 of these and that was enough. Like I just had these 2 out and some androids and that was enough. Like I didn't even have to cell chain. Because sometimes opponents will be like, oh, I'm playing cell chain. I better get rid of my cards before they discard them all. So they play them all, just waste them basically. And it's like, okay, cool, I don't even have to cell chain. Because cell chain, you use a lot of cards in your hand to use it. Because you got to put stuff under your cell. So if they try to do that and go down by themselves, you just play this bad boy and boom, they're down to 3 basically without you even having to cell, and you got a big threat on board. So very good card. I'm keeping the 2 in. 2 is a perfect number. I would not go to 3 or 1. If you're going to play it, do 2. Up next is an amazing card, Toa. This just came out recently. It's like Mira, you discard a card, but your leader, if it's green, I think, or yellow, might just be green, I don't know. All I know is it works with my leader. Your leader gets 5,000 power, which actually can come in clutch, especially against SS3 when you're trying to clear the board with like their hits or Gohans. Your android leader will be swinging for 20 if you're at 4 life, and if they have hardly any cards in hand after cell chain, they can't protect their hit as well or their Gohans, and you can just easily clear the board, draw a card with your leader, not make them draw a card from life, and just keep that pressure going until you're ready to end the game. 3 has been a good number for me. There were a couple games where I wish I saw this more, so I might try 4. That's one of the cards that I'm going to play around with, but fantastic card. If you don't have that card, mirror is okay. The 5000 power comes in handy a little bit, but you have to play with this card just so you can get the 5000 power. You gotta like play around to get the full effect of this card. So it kind of sucks, but sometimes I would have to attack with my leader to combo to get to 3 cards to overwhelm, so then the 5000 power didn't even matter. So if you only have mirrors, that's okay, no big deal. Next is our super combo. This card is nuts. This card is so good. Basically you get 10,000 power, 10,000 power, sorry, and your opponent discards a card. So this is very good aggressively. Defensively, it's not the greatest, but if you have to use it, you have to use it. So with this card, when you cell chain, they go down to 3. I usually try to, by then, have 3 in the discard to overwhelm. And so they go down to 3 for cell chain. You play Toa, they go down to 2. Now, if it's an aggressive deck, they might have awakened you already, or you could use your Gohans to awaken yourself to go to 4, and you start playing this guy. So they'll go down to, they have 2 cards in hand, you play this card, and they go down to 2 or 1. Like, it's ridiculous. And then you can do your crit 18s. There's just a lot of different plays with this deck, and a lot of different ways you can actually discard. And sometimes, like I said, you don't even have to really use these right away because your opponent's going to freak out and just spend all the resources anyway. I love this deck. It's really good. It just puts on a lot of pressure, and the opponent doesn't know how to play against it. You're probably going to win if you play it right. Up next is a card that was okay in my mind. I mean, it's good in every other deck. It's a very good card. I'm not saying it's okay. It's very good. But in this deck, I don't know if it really deserves a spot. It is good if you get it early on, because you're not going to really be playing too much turn 1 or turn 2. You're going to be kind of defensive. So it was okay, but I'm thinking of replacing the 3 Gokus with 3 of this guy, because the only games I've lost is because of my consistency. I didn't get cell chain as early as I want, so playing this will help. I've saw the Goku a lot early on, so this card would be really good. Plus, it's a good charge piece. Sometimes it's rough charging, because if you only have 117 or 18, you don't really want to charge it, but you need green, so this could be a good charge piece as well. So I'm thinking of replacing the 3 Goku with 3 Android 20. See how that goes. Up next we have our negates. Another reason why this deck can hang in the meta is 4 full power. Now, I've seen people play more of the other negate, Speedy, which I disagree with. I think full power is better. Just hitting the trunks, getting that trunks off the board so you don't take crit. You want to try to get every card in your hand. That way you can get your pieces faster for cell chain. You always want your life to go to your hand with this deck, because most of the time that's how you get more 17s and 18s is from your life. So this really helps protecting you from crits. The early on trunks, Champa, that really sucks if you have to take that, but full power is just a very good negate right now. And then we're playing 2 Speedy. Speedy's pretty good because full power, if you don't know, only pops 1 drops, but this can pop 3 or less, but you have to discard a card. So it's very, I don't know, it just depends on what's attacking and when. It's very, it depends on the right time. So it's not as good as full power in my mind. It is pretty cool when you're playing against like a Boo deck and they play the 3-drop Boo to go search for Boos, and then they attack with your leader. You negate it, you pitch, and you blow up their 3-drop Boo. It's really clutch. If you aren't comfortable with only 2 Speedy, you can side in 2 more Speedy or 1 more, and maybe change, depending on the matchup, switch your negates around. But for the most part, I think this is the right play for negates. So that gives us 6 negates, which is pretty good. I think 6 is enough. I wouldn't go more or less. So that is the deck, guys. I actually love this deck a lot. I think it has a current spot in the meta. I wish I could take it to a big tournament. Hopefully I can soon, but I need to fine tune it some more. I need to really work on a side deck as well. But some cards I wanted to talk about. Well, we already talked about Android 20, but I was thinking of adding another one of these over the Energy Guard 17. So it would give us 3 of these and 3 of the blocker that restands. So I'm thinking about doing that. I think it will make the deck better, because sometimes you need removal, sometimes you need the attacker pressure plus the blocker. So it just depends on what your opponent does, and I want to have an even split, that way I can react appropriately. So I think that's a good switch. Another card, I don't know if I really want to try this, but is this card. I guess you could replace one 5-drop. You can go into it with the 3-drop. No, you can't, can you? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this card, honestly. The main reason of the deck is to get Cell Chain off, and I don't want to hurt the consistency of that. That's how you win games with this deck. And this card is good. You draw 2 cards, you get 2 tokens. It's a 5-drop, 20,000. I honestly don't think it's worth it, in my opinion. So I don't know if I'm going to try this. Let me know down below how you guys feel about this, if you've tried it, what you like about it, what you don't like about it. But for sure, I'm probably going to add these in to the deck over the 3 Gokus and the 1 Energy Guard. So that's probably the changes I'll make, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, please don't forget to show some love to that thumbs up button. Let me know down below if there's any other decks you want G&G to showcase. We have a lot of decks, a lot of different players with a lot of different skills. I'm definitely the Cell player of the group, so probably the only Cell player at the store, but that's okay. More fun for me. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Peace!